Buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saranam gacchāmi, Sanghaṃ saranam gacchāmi. Friends, let's all study, investigate and practice the real words of the Buddha in our daily life. Every Thursday from 7 to 8:30 p.m. New York time, we meet here to understand the original teachings of the Buddha, the real words of the Buddha. Tonight, our topic is impermanent, suffering and non-self. This is based on the three discourses, the same three discourses from the connected discourses of the Buddha. Chapter 23. Let's study these discourses. This is our talk number 67. This special discourse, first one, impermanent. What is impermanent? This is to be understood clearly from our history, from the Buddhist tradition. We are taught to understand impermanence from outside, from the things outside as material things like flowers, impermanence of flowers, impermanence of trees, leaves, twigs, such things, or the external objects. But what is the Buddha's definition? What the Buddha said clearly in the discourses? What is to be, where the impermanent is to be observed, how to observe impermanence. The Buddha said, Sabbe sankhara anicca. Sankhara anicca. Sankhara means what? Volitional formations. So volitional formations are, what are the volitional formations? Again, people say that volitional formations are things outside. Outside, nothing to observe outside. Nothing to understand outside. Outside things are there, it's all right. Let them be there. We have to use the external things. All external things should be there. But we have to observe ourselves. This is an introspection. We have to observe ourselves inside our mind. These volitional formations come to our mind. There are three types of volitional formations. Volitional formations of unwholesome. Apunya bisankhara, the Buddha said. Then volitional formations of punya bisankhara, wholesome thoughts. Then we have, if we have developed, we have ananja bisankhara. What are the ananja bisankhara? First, jhani, ecstasies, experience. Such things come to our mind. These are the three types of volitional formations that the Buddha taught us. So these are things that come to our mind. Come to our mind through what? How? They come to our mind as 5 aggregates, thoughts. If we cling to what happens, we leave behind it. We leave behind as a cause. If we leave it behind as a cause, then we have to reap the results in the next life in accordance with the cause that we have left behind. So, impermanence are to be seen. Buddha said impermanence are to be seen not through the eyes. If you want to see impermanence of a flower, you have to observe the flower, which is not the teaching of the Buddha. If you want to see the impermanence of the tree, you have to observe your eyes. The Buddha said, Sabbe sankara anicchati yada panyaya passati. Panyaya means what? Wisdom. You have to use wisdom. See impermanence through your wisdom. Yada panyaya passati. Only then, atha nibbindati dukke. Only then you become disenchanted of suffering. This is the way that the Buddha has taught us. This is why, friends, we have to learn this Dhamma, practice this Dhamma. Then we can realize this Dhamma. So now let's understand this discourse. The discourse impermanent at Savatthi means this was delivered while the Buddha was dwelling at Savatthi, the place called Savatthi. Sitting to one side, the Venerable Radha went to see the Buddha, and after respecting the Buddha, Venerable Radha sat aside. Said to the Blessed One, what? Venerable Sir, it is said impermanent. What now, Venerable Sir, is impermanent? That was his question. Then what? Did the Buddha say impermanent is the flowers are impermanent, trees are impermanent, and the other animals out there, they are impermanent? Did the Buddha say this? No. What the Buddha said? Buddha said, other is impermanent. Form. Form means not outside there. Inside. Form inside. Inside where? Inside the eye, inside the ear, inside the nose, inside the tongue, inside the body, inside the mind. 6 sense bases. Form. Are there forms inside? Has the Buddha said about this? Buddha said, form of the eye. What is the form of the eye? Form of form or color, shape, form. Aren't there form inside? Then form of ear, form of sound. Form of sound. Rupa. Then Shabda Rupa. Shabda Rupa means form of the eye. Then Gandha Rupa, the form of the nose. Gandha Rupa. Then Rasa Rupa. Rasa Rupa is form of taste. Form of the eye, form of the ear, form of the nose. Then form of the tongue, form of the body, form of the mind. Rupa, Shabda Rupa, Gandha Rupa, Rasa Rupa, Pottabha Rupa, Dhamma Rupa. That is how the Buddha said. Now here the Buddha says, form rather is impermanent, feeling is impermanent, perception is impermanent, Volitional formations are impermanent. Consciousness is impermanent. Seen thus, bhikkhus, the instructed noble disciple, that is the one to be. We all have to be this type of disciple of the Buddha. Who's that? Instructed noble disciple, the one who knows the Dhamma and who sees the Dhamma, who sees the enlightened one, who has seen them, who has seen the real Dhamma of the Buddha. Such a person, instructed noble disciple, experiences disenchantment. Disenchanted of what? Disenchanted of form, feeling, perception, volitional formation and consciousness for aggregate. Disenchanted towards form, Buddha says here. Disenchantment towards feeling, disenchantment towards perception, disenchantment towards volitional formations, disenchantment towards consciousness. Experiencing disenchantment, he becomes dispassionate. That is the result. To dispassion, his mind is liberated, not he is liberated. Buddha did not use he is liberated or she is liberated, but his mind, her mind is liberated. That is the way to see it. Now, when it is liberated, when the mind is liberated, what happens? There comes the knowledge that it is liberated. Then who knows this? When one's mind is liberated, who knows it? Are there any other person to label? No. The person knows that it is liberated. It is liberated. It is liberated. What is liberated? The mind is liberated. Vimuktasming vimuktamiti jnanam hoti. He understands, he knows that. Now he understands what destroyed is birth. Destroyed is birth. No more birth to me. The holy life has been lived. Finished. The holy life has been lived means he has followed, he has trodden the path. What had to be done has been done. Katang karaniyang. Done what had to be done. There's no more for this state of being. No more coming back. This is his realization. Short discourse. Let's come to the next one. Suffering. Tonight we are talking about impermanent, suffering and non-self. Now the second discourse, which is suffering. The same at Savatthi. Buddha delivered this sutta also at Savatthi. So sitting to one side, the Venerable Radha himself said to the Blessed One, Venerable Sir, it is said suffering. What now, Venerable Sir, is suffering? Then again, where the suffering is to be seen? What is suffering? It is clearly given in the discourses, original teachings. The problem is most of our friends do not read these original teachings. They simply browse all these later works. They browse the commentaries, sub-commentaries, sub-commentaries and all these compilations compositions, and then they try to show that they know the Dhamma. Intellectually it is all right. It's all right, but they cannot practice, they cannot experience this Dhamma merely reading these later works. They have to go to the original teachings. Original teachings are there in the long discourses, middle length teachings of the Buddha, the connected discourses of the Buddha, the numerical discourses of the Buddha, and the anthologies, minor anthologies. These are the discourses, these are the volumes to be used by old wise people. All wise people. Now here what the Buddha's answer. As Venerable Radha asked, Bhante, what is suffering? Suffering is said, but Bhante, what is suffering? Buddha said again, form rather is suffering. See, just like impermanent. Form is not external. Those are called sankhata. Sankhata means things composed with four elements or their derivatives. This form is not composed with four elements. That is to be understood. So, form rather is suffering, the Buddha said. Feeling is suffering, perception is suffering, volitional formations are suffering, consciousness is suffering. Seen thus, bhikkhus, the instructed noble disciple experiences disenchantment. That is what is necessary. Disenchantment towards what? Towards form. Disenchantment towards feeling. Disenchantment towards perception. Disenchantment towards volitional formations. Disenchantment towards consciousness. Experiencing disenchantment, he becomes dispassionate. Through dispassion, his mind is liberated. Her mind is liberated. That is what happens. When it is liberated, there comes the knowledge, it is liberated. What is liberated? Mind is liberated. He then understands, destroyed is birth. The holy life has been lived. What had to be done has been done. There is no more for this state of being. Not come back. Never come back. Now the third discourse, non-self. This is also delivered by the Buddha while dwelling at Savatthi. Venerable Radha went to the Buddha, respected and set aside. Then he asked, Venerable Sir, it is said non-self, non-self. Non-self, non-self. What now, Venerable Sir, is non-self? Then Buddha said the same thing. 5 aggregates. You see, impermanent is to be seen on 5 aggregates. Suffering is to be seen on 5 aggregates. Then non-self is to be seen on 5 aggregates. Through these 5 aggregates. What are these 3? Impermanence, unsatisfactoriness or suffering, and non-self. What are these 3? These are called 3 characteristics. 3 characteristics. Trilakkana. Then where these 3 should be seen? in the five aggregates. In the five aggregates. Now, he asked, Bhante, what do you call this? Non-self, Bhante. It is said non-self. So what is non-self, Bhante? Then the Buddha said, form rather is non-self. Feeling is non-self. Perception is non-self. Volitional formations are non-self. Consciousness is non-self. That is the Buddha's clear teaching. These are quite unparalleled teaching. Nowhere else, only the teachings of the Buddha. That is why it is said that it is an unparalleled teaching in the whole world. Nowhere else. In order to understand this, one should come to this teaching, only this dispensation. It is available. Now, the Buddha further says, saying thus, bhikkhus, the instructed noble disciple experiences disenchantment towards form, disenchantment towards feeling, disenchantment towards perception, disenchantment towards volitional formations, disenchantment towards consciousness. Experiencing disenchantment, he becomes dispassionate. Through dispassion, his mind is liberated. Viraga vimucchati. When it is liberated, there comes the knowledge. It is liberated. He understands then, destroyed is life. Khina jati. The holy life has been lived. Vusitang brahmacharyang. What had to be done has been done. Katang karaniyang. There is no more for state of being. Na parang ittatayati pajjanati. That is what happened. That is the realization. That is what happens when we practice. That is why, friends, we all have to understand this Dhamma and practice it. Now let's come to understand another discourse where the Buddha taught about the perception of impermanence. Impermanence, where this impermanence is to be understood. Now, I quote this from Girimananda Sutta, where the Buddha talked how to develop perception of impermanent. This is the exact word of the Buddha. I quote from Girimananda Sutta. The Buddha said, and what Ananda, addressing Ananda, and what Ananda is perception of impermanence. Here Ananda, this is how to practice impermanence. Here Ananda, a bhikkhu. A bhikkhu means not only bhikkhu. Bhikkhu or bhikkhuni, upasaka or upasika, anybody, whoever is practicing, who has gone to the forest or to the foot of a tree or to an empty abode, empty place. These are the three congenial places recommended by the Buddha to practice meditation. So whoever goes to such a place, he considers, he contemplates. Contemplates what? Form is impermanent, feeling is impermanent, perception is impermanent, mental formations are impermanent, consciousness is impermanent. Thus he dwells, reflecting on the impermanence in the five aggregates of grasping. Five aggregates of grasping. This anantta is said to be perception of impermanence. That is the exact word of the Buddha. So, where should we see impermanence? The five aggregates. Of the five aggregates. In this discourse, let's see this discourse also, addressing the bhikkhus. Buddha said, bhikkhus, when the perception of impermanence is developed and cultivated, it eliminates all sensual lust. It eliminates all lust for existence. It eliminates all ignorance. It uproots all conceit, I am. These are the results of practicing this meditation. Practicing this perception of impermanence. Then the Buddha gave some similes. Just as bhikkhus in the autumn, a plowman plowing with a great plowshare cuts through all the rootlets as he plows. So too, when the perception of impermanence is developed and cultivated, it eliminates all sensual lust, all lust for existence, all ignorance, and all conceit, I am. Then another simile. Just like the plowman, the Buddha said, plowman, how he plows? He goes to the paddy field, he plows. Where? He uproots all rootlets. Just like that. That's the first simile. Now, let's see another one. Just as bhikkhus, a rush cutter, would cut down a rush, grab it by the top and shake it down and shake it out and thumps it about. So too, when the perception of impermanence is developed and cultivated, it eliminates all sensual lust, all lust for existence, all ignorance, all conceit, I am. That is the second simile. Then the third simile. Just as a bhikkhu, just as bhikkhus, when the stalk of a bunch of mangoes, suppose a person takes a bunch of mangoes, has been cut, he cuts a bunch of mangoes. All the mangoes attached to the stalk followed alone with it. All mangoes are together. So too, when the perception of impermanence is developed, it eliminates all sensual lust. It eliminates all lust for existence. It eliminates all ignorance. It uproots. It eliminates all conceit, I am. It's me. That's the conceit. Ahankara, maminkara. All this gone when practice this perception of impermanent. Then the Buddha said another simile. Just as because all the rafters of a house with a peaked roof lead to the roof peak, slope towards the roof peak, and converge upon the roof peak, and the roof peak is declared to be their chief. That's the ridge fall, what you call ridge fall. So too, when the perception of impermanence is developed, it eliminates all these things. It eliminates all sensual lust. It eliminates all lust for existence. It eliminates all ignorance. It eliminates all conceit. I am. Another simile. Just as because among fragrant fruits black orris is declared to be their chief, so too when the perception of impermanence is developed, all these elements eliminate all these unwholesome things, all these defilements. Then said another simile. Just as because among fragrant heartwoods, red sandalwood is declared to be their chief, so too when the perception of impermanence is developed, it eliminates all sensual lust. It eliminates all lust for existence. It eliminates all ignorance. It eliminates all conceit. I am. Then another simile. Just as because among fragrant flowers jasmine is declared to be their chief, so too when the perception of impermanence is developed, it eliminates all sensual lust. It eliminates all lust for existence. It eliminates all ignorance. It eliminates all conceit. I am. Another one. You see, the Buddha gives many different similes. Just as because all pretty princes are the vessels of a wheel-turning monarch, and the wheel-turning monarch is declared to be their chief, so too when the perception of impermanence is developed, it uproots all conceit, all things, all defilement. Another one. Just as because the radiance of all the stars does not amount to a 16th part of the radiance of the moon, and the radiance of the moon is declared to be their chief, so too when the perception of impermanence is developed, all these impurities are removed. Finally, the Buddha said, just as because in the autumn, when the sky is clear and cloudless, the sun ascending in the sky dispels all darkness from space as it shines and beams and radiates, so too when the perception of impermanence is developed and cultivated, it eliminates all sensual lust. It eliminates all lust for existence. It eliminates all ignorance. It uproots all conceit. I am. And Buddha says, finally the Buddha says, and how bhikkhus is the perception of impermanence developed and cultivated so that it eliminates all sensual lust, eliminates all lust for existence, eliminates all ignorance, and uproots all conceit I am. This is the way. Such is form. This is form. Form is to be understood as it is. This is form. Such its origin. This is the origin of form. This is the arising of form. Such it is passing away. This is the way that it is passing away. This is the way to understand. Whenever the form is arising, we have to understand that our form is arising. This is the origin. Then we have to understand this is form first. This is form. This is the origin. This is the passing away. This is feeling. This is its origin. This is the passing. This is perception. This is its origin. This is passing away. This is feeling, perception, then volitional formation and consciousness. This is consciousness. This is its origin. This is passing away. In such a way, the Buddha taught us how to practice also. Then it is our duty. It's our duty to practice this Dhamma. Then we can experience. That is why, friends, we meet here to understand this first. Understand this first. And then we can put this into practice in our daily life and experience this Dhamma. Once we experience this Dhamma, we live happily, peacefully. Finally, I want to quote another 3 different stanzas from a discourse, from numerical discourses of the Buddha. This is what is called Vipallasa Sutta of the Anguttara Nikaya. Those who want to read this, chapter 4, discourse number 49, inversion, Vipallasa, inversion. This is a very wonderful discourse where the Buddha said, perceiving permanence in the impermanent. This is the nature of the worldly person, uninstructed person. He perceives permanence in the impermanence. Perceiving permanence in the impermanence, perceiving pleasure in what is suffering, perceiving a self in what is non-self, and perceiving attractiveness in what is unattractive, beings resort to wrong views. It is because of their wrong view. They don't know. They have no right understanding, no right view. It is because of that they pursue things in such a way. They see what is impermanent as permanent. They see what is suffering as pleasure. They see what is non-self as self. It is because of their misunderstanding, not understanding clearly. It is because of their wrong view. Then what happens? Their minds deranged. Their perception twisted perceptions. They don't know what is correctly. They don't know impermanence, suffering, and non-self properly. They don't know because of their wrong view. Then such people are bound by the yoke of Mara. They are bound by Mara. Mara has 31 different fields. Mara take them all. Bound by Mara's yoke, Mara's bond. Bound by Mara's bond. Mara takes them all in samsaric cycle. Take to Mara's field, 31 realms, and do not reach security from bondage. They have no security from bondage. Beings continue in samsara, going to birth and death. Birth, death, birth, death. That is what happened to them all. All those worldlings, they leave behind causes and they reap results in different realms. Being born, once born, death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, all this whole mass of suffering they face. Then the Buddha said, but when the Buddhas arise in the world, sending forth a brilliant light, they are the brightest ones, the Buddhas. When the Buddhas are born, they revealed this Dhamma that leads to the stilling of suffering. Having heard it, wise people, only the wise can understand this Dhamma. Wise people have regained their sanity. They become saints. They regain their sanity. They become saints. They become stream enterers, once-returners, non-returners, and the enlightened ones, the arahants. That is the meaning. They have seen what is not self as not self, non-self as non-self. They don't grasp self as a permanent entity. For them, no permanent entity. They can understand clearly that there is no permanent entity, no substance in the whole system of the world, system of the universe. Nothing to be called self or soul. They really clearly understand that nature. And unattractive as unattractive. They seen the impermanent. They have seen the impermanent as impermanent, and what is suffering as suffering. They have seen what is non-self as non-self, and the unattractive as unattractive. By the acquisition of right view, having gained right view, right understanding, clear understanding, they have overcome all suffering. They come to the end of suffering. No suffering. Cessation of suffering. Cessation of suffering means cessation of greed, hatred and delusion. That is the end. That is the real bliss of Nibbana. May we all realize that real peace, real happiness of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.